we're doing it. We're live. All right. Hello, everyone. How you doing? So, tonight, let me put on my mic. That's essential, right? So, I hope you all have had a wonderful day. I have been excited all day long. Why? Because we're doing something here on Let's Talk About Him. Very new. This is my very first interview with the Kendall King. Kendall's joined me tonight to talk about him. And so we're going to talk about Kendall and who she is and the things that she's done. And you know, each week I'm here on Thursday nights, and I'm here to encourage you all as we're traveling on this journey called life. We're not by ourselves. We are not alone. You agree with me, Kendall?
Absolutely.
And so sometimes we need some encouragement to just move forward in doing that which God has called us to do. And so those that know about my book, I Live for You, Lord, we've been coming here every Thursday night talking about the book. And, you know, I've talked to Kendall, and I know Kendall pretty well.
Yes.
She's my sister,
Yes.
y'all. She's my sister. And I am associating her with the segment in the book called Pray, Plan, and Execute. You all remember we were talking about Nehemiah, pray, planning, and executing. And so we're going to talk to Kendall King. And so you're like, well, who is Kendall King? You got to know who she is. And you're about to find out. So Kendall, I'm just going to say, Kendall,
Yes.
I'm going to run it down for him, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to see if I can do it in one breath. I might need to take a breath, okay? So Kendall is a singer. She is an arranger. She is a writer. She is a composer. So let me take a breath right there. Okay. All right, you ready? So she's a composer. I want to get it all. She's a graphic designer. Now she designs video. Let me don't get ahead of myself. She designs radio production posters. If you saw my graphic, my art that is talking about tonight, she did that. Right?
Yes, I did.
Yes, she did. I can't go back, y'all. She does album covers. She does logos. So whatever you need, she's a graphic designer.
Yes.
That's what she does. Yes. So she's a choir director. She's a musician. She plays keys, y'all. Do you play the organ too?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I'm not finished yet. Hold on. She is a worship leader. She is an independent gospel artist. And so I say this last one, this one for the last. And it ain't all she does. It's just some. But this chick is a preacher.
Oh my goodness.
Did I call her a chick? That's because she's my friend. She's my friend. She is a preacher. And so welcome, Kendall King.
Thank you. I am just so honored to be here tonight. I'm excited. And, I just couldn't wait for tonight to come.
Yes, I couldn't wait either. I was waiting at the door like, your first date, you like at the door pacing like, are they coming? Are they coming? Yes, and so I am so excited to have you tonight. And I know that you have been doing so many things in life. And so what I want to talk to you tonight about, and just to kick off the discussion, because we're going to talk tonight. We're praying, we're planning, and we're executing.
Yes.
And so I want to talk about little Kendall King. Now, you notice I keep calling her Kendall King. Who has a name like that? Like you just feel like you need to pronounce the first name and the last name and put that joker together, and that's who she is. So Kendall King, can you tell us about little Kendall? I won't put King on there.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
Little
I
Kendall.
had to grow into that.
Right. So tell us about little Kendall.
Well, little Kendall, I come from a family of preachers and singers. My father was a pastor.
Okay.
And my grandfather, my mother's father, was a pastor, and uncles, Pastor, so I stayed in church. Music is all in my family. My mother sings, my grandmother sings. My uncle was a fabulous musician. He actually lived in D.C. for a while, and so he introduced me to D.C., to music in D.C., and even now my cousin is a musician. My nephew is a singer-songwriter. So it just all runs in the family. So I started singing. I remember starting singing at 5, but my cousin told me that she remembers me singing when I was 3. I don't remember that. 3. But when I was 3.
They put her up on the table.
Yeah. Because I've always been short. So, I always need a little elevation. But God has just been blessing me throughout all of my life. I'm very proud of my background. I consider myself a church girl. I always spent time in church. I was always in church. I was very close to my father's mother. And I called her my Mom King back then. And so I was always in church. We were always traveling around to different churches.
Okay.
And I'm just a church girl.
She's a church girl.
I'm a church girl.
You playing the piano, Kendall?
Who was that? I started taking piano lessons. I don't know exactly how old I was. Probably like about 7 or 8. And I used to go to, it was the gentleman who used to work at Camden High School. And he was a musician named Mr. Wheeler. And so I would go take lessons from Mr. Wheeler. And then as I started to progress, back then they used to have songbooks. So Andre Crouch and Edwin Hawkins and Walter, they used to have songbooks.
Right.
So I would learn how to play it, the music. But then I started realizing that I could play by ear. So I took the notes and then I started adding things to them. And then I got lazy and stopped wanting to practice and stopped wanting to read because now, I can play right here.
I got that thing right here.
I got it. So
it's a gift. That's a gift. That's a gift.
Yes. So I started actually playing for my father's church when I was around 12. So I played for the choir. I was the director. I taught the parts. Okay. The whole 9. And it's really my first love. Being a choir director and a church musician is what I've always done. The artist part came a long time, and the songwriting came a long time later.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to that songwriting and all that thing, all those things that came later. Yes. So that's little Kendall. Little Kendall grew up and, high school. How was high school for you? Were you like very active in the music, at your church? I know you were teaching, doing that. Were you going around though as an independent person, just singing, being called out to different churches to minister?
Actually, no. I went to 2 high schools. In the first 2 years, I went to a private school, Morristown Friends, and then I went to the local high school that was really at the end of the block on my street, Woodrow Wilson. And so I really didn't participate with the choirs or anything like that. People knew, anybody that knew me knew that I could sing and play and that I was in church, but I really wasn't that active.
Got it.
In high school. So it was when I came to Howard and joined the Howard Gospel Choir that, I just really immersed myself in music. And I just, those years, they were some of the best years of my life. Some of my best friends to this day I met when I sang with HGC, and it was under Paul Gatling. Okay. And I just learned so much, and it was just wonderful. So I really, really treasure those years.
Wow. So you've been in music, little girl, 3. We're going to say 3. She don't remember, but that's what they said.
It's from my cousin Terry. She told me.
Okay. So we had, and then she's gone to college, Howard University, and so now you've graduated from college, and now you're in the DC area. What are you doing?
Well, I didn't finish at Howard. Okay. I was having a lot of fun. I majored in HGC.
All right. Okay.
So that was my major. Okay.
So
people know what
HGC is.
Howard Gospel Choir.
Okay.
I would sleep all day and get up and go to rehearsal.
Everybody, that's the love. The love will pull you in. When you don't want to do nothing else, the love thing will pull you. So she was pulled.
Yes, I was pulled right in.
Okay.
And but actually when I first got to DC, I immediately found a job playing at a church because that's what I did. I needed some money. So I started playing, and I started playing at Greater Tri-Stone Baptist Church on 13th and Otis.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful story that I've always been kind of a loner. I didn't really have a lot of friends. So my mother was really afraid for me when I went to college because.
Where did you grow up at, Kendall? Because we didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm from Camden, New Jersey.
Oh.
Camden, New Jersey.
Jersey girl.
Yes. Camden, New Jersey. And so, and right across the bridge from Philly. So my father's church was in Philly.
Okay.
It was in North Philly. So I really feel a connection to Philadelphia. And so I started, so my mother was afraid for me. So she wrote it. It's a prayer that she wrote. Oh. And she just asked God to protect me, and she asked God to allow me to meet friends and to meet friends that and families. Okay. So that I would be connected to families and I would be covered when I was here. And I bless God because God really answered her prayer. Because the first church that I played for, the gentleman that was in charge of the choir, his name was Weldon Ferguson. And he took me in with his family. He fed me. I was really, really, really close to his daughter, Centron. And so immediately I didn't have to wait for that. God immediately answered that prayer. And throughout my years, God has always connected me with families.
That's the first point, y'all. Mama prayed.
Yes.
And the prayers were answered immediately.
Yes. Immediately.
We're talking about him. And we're talking about how he delivers. So there was a prayer, Mama prayed it, and you were covered.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're playing at the church. What else happened to you, Kendall?
And so, I decided after a while that since I wasn't going to try to do this whole college thing, that I need to get a job. So I started working just, as a file clerk for the Secret Service. And then I went in 1986, I went to a company in Virginia, and I went there as an admin. But, God always has a plan, even if we don't know. And so I got connected with the graphic designer there, and I started doing little things, to help with her slack. And before you knew it, I realized that I really had a gift for it. Wow. And so I started taking classes and just learning everything that I could. So when a position opened up, you'd be ready. God gave me favor, and I walked in not really on paper qualified, but I was qualified, and the opportunity opened, and I've been doing it ever since.
Look at that. Now, did y'all catch that? She realized she had a gift. Now, we already know she's gifted, okay, because we're going to talk about all that giftedness. But she realized that she had another gift within her. And you did what? You went and got some training.
I got some training.
She went and honed her gift, y'all. Come on here, let's give God praise.
Yes.
Come on, there's a plan there. She's executing. So you were working, you worked for this graphic, you got the job.
Yes.
Okay, and then what happened?
And so, like I said, I was there for just about 30 years.
Oh, okay.
And so all during that time, also I was still doing, directing choirs and playing for churches. And so the songwriting came in 1990, I think it was 91. Okay. I was introduced to a young lady that had joined the church where I was playing, and she was doing a documentary, and it was called Hope of Glory, the African American Church. Okay. So she just, she liked the choirs that I directed, so she wanted me to help just to join the team. Right. And so at the time, Carlton Burgess was the musical director, and I just absolutely love him, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I get to work with Carlton. Right. I was very excited. And so, as things progressed, he wasn't able to do it. So she came to me and she was like, okay, I need a musical director. And I had never done anything on that level before. Okay. And she said, oh, by the way, he was supposed to write the title song, so I need you to write the title song. Okay. And so, I approached it the way I really approach everything. I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing. I had never done anything like that. But there again, I trust God for everything. And so, my whole thing is, I just did a blog on this, is to do it afraid. Okay. And so I jumped in, I wrote the title song, and it's a beautiful song that I wrote. Michael White played it for me. He recorded it. And it's called Hope of Glory. And that really was the catalyst that I did an arrangement of Amen. And then after that, it just started rolling. I had this little this little Casio that was literally about this big.
I remember the Casio. Y'all remember? For those of us that do remember, I do remember the Casio.
Yes, it had batteries.
Uh-huh.
It had batteries, and I carried it around with me everywhere.
Wow.
And and that was back when I had a boom box and I had a big component set, and so that's how I recorded my tracks. I would record it on the boom box and then play it back through the component set, and then record the next part, and just the whole nine. It was all cassettes.
The technology has really
it's amazing.
progressed.
It's
from
amazing.
Way back in the day.
Yes.
So Kendall, you've done all of that. Let's talk about some of your challenges that you went through in doing that which God has called you to do.
Right.
Because I've talked to the point that even though God has called you to do things, doesn't mean that you won't have opposition. So let's talk about some of your opposition, some of the challenges that you have gone through doing this thing called life.
Well, I've come to find that everything for me that God has called me to do has been a challenge.
Okay.
Because every time God gives me a new vision or a new project, the enemy immediately comes in and tries to attack it. So everything is a challenge.
She said
everything.
Everything. Now,
everything.
Let me just jump in here. I'm gonna be. I want to say to you all, if you have some questions for Kendall as you're watching this, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will address the questions. I'm gonna bring them up so we can see them, and then we'll address your questions. So everything, going back to Kendall, everything is a challenge. It ain't easy.
It's
folks.
not easy. It's not easy. So I started working on my first project in 1998. And it shows you how long ago. Back then, I started on ADATs.
Yes.
And then
That's old.
It's old. I just threw my ADATs away. I had them all this time, and then I went to reel. Then I went to Pro Tools. And so I started in 1998, and it was also in 1998 that I found out that I had a thyroid condition and that I had a goiter.
Oh, wow.
So, because I've always had challenges in terms of sinus. That's why I said everything is a challenge. Sinuses. I used to have nodes on my vocal cords. So it was always I was either always congested or sneezed. Something was always going on with my voice.
Right.
So I was used to that, but this was a little extra.
A little bit more.
It was a little bit more. So I went to the doctor, and they did an MRI, and that's what I found out. So I was like, well, Lord, this is not the time for me because I'm in the middle of recording. So my first project, which is called For a Reason, it took 7 years. And I was finished, really I was almost finished in 2004, and I was in the studio for my last mastering session. And I looked at my desk, and this little blue light came on. And so my engineer, I love Brad, shout out to Brad Bearwald, Studio 51. He's the best. And so, this little blue light kept blinking, and he was like, uh-oh. So I'm a very cool kind. I really never react.
She is very laid back. If you listen to her music, she is chilling. The background is in it, and then she comes in with this powerful chill. You're like, oh, yes, honey. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Well, I found out that my disc had crashed. And I lost all of my music. And the only thing that I had was a disc with all the MP3s. Well, anybody that knows, you can't really do anything with the MP3s. You need WAV files, and we still had some mixing to do. So I lost everything. And so right after that, my father passed away. And then one of my favorite cousins, who was actually at my father's funeral, not too long after that, he passed away.
Wow.
And then my cousin, her newborn was born with some difficulties, and he passed away. So it was just one thing after another. And when it first happened, I was like, oh, I'll just send it away, and they'll be able to recover the files. Not. So I had to start all over.
That's money, y'all.
It's money. That's time. I had to pay to have the music redone, studio time. I just can't even begin to tell you.
Wow.
So I didn't actually release that project until 2005.
Oh, wow.
So 7 years. 7 is my number. Right. So 7 years.
Year of completion, right?
But you know, the irony of that is that in the summer of 2004, I wrote a song called "My Soul Doth Magnify," and which is still one of my favorite songs to this day. And so my manager, one of my best friends, and she was my manager then, she kept trying to get me to put it on the project. And this is before all the crash and everything.
Right.
And so I was like, no, I have spent too much money. I'm tired.
I see it coming.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
And then we crashed.
Then we crashed.
Oh, you better listen to Jesus.
Okay. And the guy was like, yes, you are doing it.
Oh, wow.
And that song has proven to be one of my most popular songs. It actually gets airplay. It just played on 104.1 a couple weeks ago. And it continues to bless people. Wow. And so, you know, I don't know if I was being disobedient or not, but God definitely got my attention.
Yes, he will do that.
And so, you know, so like I said, everything has really been a challenge for me.
Wow.
And but I thank God that, you know, the word says he's always given us being able to allow us to triumph over everything. We always have the victory. And I stand on that. So I really don't, at this point, I really don't care what it looks like. Because I actually expect it to just go crazy. Because and the crazier it is, I know God is going to do something amazing.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. When it's tempered high, you just like, and I'm like, you know what, God? We about to have a good time, right? Because it's just it's crazy right now. So that's amazing. So with all of your challenges, because we have, how many albums do you have, Kendall?
Well, this last one is number 3.
Number 3.
It's number 3. And so the first 2 were studio projects. And for this last CD, I did it live. And so that was challenging in itself because I've participated in other live projects, but I had never done one, you know, on my own. And so in the way that came about is I had written all this music and it really wasn't for me. It was really more choir music, more praise and worship. And I write all of my own music. So I was like, God, I have all of this music. What am I going to do with it? And God said, you're going to record it.
Yes.
And I was like, who's going to sing it?
So let me jump in there on that, because Kendall, let me tell y'all something. She's a bad mamma jamma. She's written for the Gospel Music Workshops of America.
Yes.
They sang it. You know, she submitted her song. It was selected. Yes. Am I correct? And they sang it. And she's written for Stella Award winners. I mean, the list goes on. She's open for major artists that if we mention their name, you'd be like, what? You know, she's been at the Verizon Center. I mean, just large arenas. And she's a regular on the Spirit of Washington. Yes. You know, we're in COVID times right now.
I know. I miss it.
Right. So we get back there, we need to go see Kendall and
absolutely
check her out on the Spirit of Washington or anywhere that she is. And I'm trying to bring us up online here so that I can see if there are any questions. I hope y'all have some questions for Kendall, because Kendall is here, y'all. So be ready to ask her something. So Kendall, you talked about your music and writing, and how much of life that you're experiencing goes into what you're writing? Like, are you going through something, or, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be something bad. It just means you're having a great day, you know, right. And do you just sit down and write and God just says, Kendall, write this? How does that happen for you?
Well, most of my writing comes out of my life experiences. And someone told me one time that my writing is like, you know, you're having a conversation. I don't really try to rhyme or make it fit. I really, you know, write about what I'm going through and my experiences and everything that I've gone through. I believe God has taken me through that so that I can bless and minister to someone else. And so it just comes from my heart. Sometimes it comes to me in little pieces. Sometimes it comes all. There really is no one way that God gives it to me. Sometimes I get the melody first, the tune. Sometimes I get the words first. Sometimes it's piecemeal, and sometimes it's been years in between. I started one part of the song, and then years later I finish it. So it just depends. It just depends.
Okay. So what I need you all to take from that, sometimes it takes a little while.
Yes, it does.
And we just have to be patient and persevere to the end. We're praying, we're planning, and we're executing. And Kendall King is sitting here as the humble. I mean, if you met Kendall on the street, she would not tell you not a thing that she does. You all will talk, you all will have a great time, and then you'll look up one day, you're like, oh, she doing all of that. So I just wanted to bring Kendall to you so that you could experience who she is. I mean, she's a lovable person. I love you, Kendall.
Oh, I love you too.
And we have such great talks when we do talk.
Yes.
And we like to eat at California Pizza Kitchen.
Oh, yes. Yes. We are due.
We are due. COVID has taken over. I'm like, tell me about what it's been like with COVID for you, Kendall.
COVID has been interesting. Back in I have to really start with the whole story in terms of the thyroid that I mentioned, condition I mentioned earlier, and the goiter. And so
I'm looking this up, Kendall. You go ahead and talk. I'm trying to get to see what people saying to you.
Okay. So I was diagnosed with the goiter, and it was just never really the right time to have the surgery. Mm-hmm. And so finally, the way circumstances had it, I had to trust God and just get over the fear and have the surgery. So I had the surgery in 2017 in October. And so one of my fears was that I was going to lose my voice, because that's one of the complications with having this particular surgery. And so I actually did lose my voice.
Oh.
So, my story is a little twist, because I had no voice. I could talk a little bit, but I couldn't sing at all. I sounded like a frog, and I'm not even really exaggerating. I had no voice whatsoever.
I never believed her though.
None. And so really, it took a while, and I was like, okay, God, you told me to trust you. You told me to trust you. And so 2018 comes around, and I really still can't really sing. And so December 20, around New Year's, I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing praise and worship at my church. Mm-hmm. And so it was very limited, but I was determined. To me, the only way I was going to get through this is to actually do it. Push, and I knew what God had told me. I knew his promise, and it really didn't look like it. But, I was like, I don't care. I know what he told me. Okay. And I stand on his word. And so I just kept
that, y'all.
Yes.
I felt that thing.
I stand on his word. And so I kept doing it and kept doing it. And so gradually my voice started coming back. And then in 2019, I had the opportunity to travel to Poland with Pastor John Tillery and Living Sacrifice. Yes. And that was just such an amazing experience. And I just kept like, this is really happening, God. This is really happening, because, I still wasn't 100%, but God allowed me to do it. And every night, we had about 11 concerts every night. Wow. We were traveling in between. Sometimes we had 2 concerts a day. Mm-hmm. And the blessing on top of that is he asked me to do My Soul Doth Magnify. So every night we sang My Soul Doth Magnify. With the thyroid. With no voice. Okay. The whole nine. And so God is just so faithful.
He is awesome.
And so, through all of that. So now we're at 2019, and it's been another 7 years, because I recorded this last project in 2013. Okay. So now we've gone on another 7 years. I'm like, oh God, here we are. I can't release the project if I can't sing. Because you have to promote your project. You can't just release it and say, okay, here it is. People, want to hear you sing it. And so it was fall of 2019. And I said, okay, God, what am I going to do? And he said, release it in 2020. This all goes back to COVID. Trust me, I'm getting somewhere with this. So he said, release it in 2020. Okay. And I said, okay, I don't see it, but I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it.
So that's what I did. I started working to release the single. In February, I started working, and in March, COVID hits.
Look at that.
And so, I'm human. I was like, God, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. You told me to do this. Okay. And now, because I'm a full-time musician too. So now everything's shut down. I'm not getting any money for playing, no gigs. Everything is shut down. Mm-hmm. And so God said, just do what I told you to do.
Okay.
And just be faithful. And can I tell you that God has blessed so tremendously. It's just incredible when you're obedient to his word, and you just have, there again, you just have to trust him.
You got to trust him.
You have to trust him.
You hear her. She is testifying.
You have to trust him. And there's a song on my project, well, there are several songs on my project that speak to this, but one of them that I love is that there's a blessing in the wait.
Okay.
Because we have to patiently wait on God, and then we have to speak it like it's right here in our hands.
Come on. Speak to us, Kendall.
Okay?
Speak to us.
You have to speak it like you have it already. And when you do that, I am a witness. God is faithful.
Yes, he is.
He is faithful. And all those things, and another song that speaks to that is called That's Why. And
That's Why.
That's Why. It was my single, and that's the one that I did a video on, so please.
Yeah, I get ready to say, we get ready to talk about your production, because she produced her own video, you all. She's been in COVID, and the Lord has been downloading to her how to do things. And so if you have not seen the video, please go to YouTube and pull up her video. As a matter of fact, you can go to her website, Kendall King, KendallKing.biz. Yes, or KK Productions, as well as one of her. So Kendall, look at all this. We got a lot of people on here.
Oh my goodness!
A lot of people talking to you. Hey Betty, say hello. Dale Arterberry. Dale
Atterbury. Hey Dale.
All right, Dale is on there. Hi, Sally. And Robert Persons. Hey, love. We love you too, Robert.
Hey, sweetie. I love you, Robert.
So, yes, my baby girl is on here. Yes, my baby. And Kimberly. Pastor Swan.
Yeah, Swain.
That's Swain. Okay.
Yes, the first lady of the church that I play for, Christ Church of Life and Salvation. What's up, CCLS?
And this is Deacon Clinton Harris.
Yes, a good friend of mine.
Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. Sing a song. That's what Crystal says. Sing a song for us tonight. Well, you know what? Crystal, hold on. We're going to make that happen for you.
Let's see what we can do.
Candace says, I love you, Kendall King. Candace Jameson.
Oh, thank you, Candace.
Yes. And miracles do happen.
Yes.
Trusting, yes, they do. And my sister says, yes, Kendall, do it scared.
Yes, you have to.
Beverly came back, yes, that's why.
Yes.
That's why.
Hi, Beverly.
So, hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. I have truly enjoyed my time here with Kendall King. And Kendall, I just want to ask you about your favorite. No, I'm not going to say your favorite, because we talked about, you like, I got a bunch of them.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you about one of your favorite scriptures that you want to share and encourage the people what it means to you.
Yes, well, one of my favorites is Psalm 63:3. And it's just this, because thy loving kindness is better than life, my lips shall praise thee. And I just bless God for his love. He always continues to show his love for me every day. God reminds me how much he loves me and how much he cares about me, how he has not forgotten about me. And it's just absolutely amazing. You think about, how vast this world is, and that God cares about little old me, this little dot right here. And that's the same way he cares about each one of us. And so, I love that scripture because it just reassures me. And as long as I know that I have his love, he has my praise.
Oh, come on here.
He has my praise.
Of our lips.
Yes.
Let's give it to him.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
I will bless him. I will give him praise.
Yes.
And I used to be really kind of timid and worry about, who's watching. My cousins have a joke because my grandmother and my mother and my aunt, they will break out in the praise in a minute. You say G and they're in.
Like,
They are in. Okay? I'm telling you, my church loves it when my mother comes to visit.
Love it.
Because she sets off praise and worship. But I bless God that we laughed at them when we were little. But now
okay, let's give him praise. Come on here. G.
Yes, God. Don't get me started.
Yes.
Bless you, Jesus.
We are excited. I am so excited. So, Kendall, I'm going to ask you, you let me know, do you want to sing a song with the keyboard or you want to give us something a cappella? You just let me know. I got a cameraman. Y'all give a shout out to my cameraman back there. He is working with us.
Thank
Thank you, honey. Yes. So, you let me know what you want to do, and I'll talk to the people while you get set up if that's what you want to do.
Okay, I'll just do something.
Okay, well, she going to sing a song. Crystal, she get ready to sing a song for us, okay? So, I'll just let you have it.
Okay, I'm just going to do just a little bit of My Soul Does Magnify.
Okay, let's do this. Yes. Now, we're going to have Kendall King, and she's going to sing My Soul Doth Magnify.
Just a little before I start this, I've always, loved God and I've always been a praiser, but I never considered myself a worshiper. And so it was in the mid-90s that I was sitting in Bible study one night and the topic was on worship. And I think the scripture came out of Luke and it was just one little line, my soul doth magnify. And it really got in my spirit from then. And so I began to understand what real worship is. And I was just telling Pastor Jerome Bell the other day that I attended the Gospel Heritage Praise and Worship Summit that was in Lanham. Back, he told me it was in 2006. I couldn't remember the year. But, that conference I elevated my praise and worship to the point where now I'm like, I am a worshiper. I'm a praiser. And, people see that in me. I didn't see it, but it took, that's why you always have to really avail yourself to opportunities to be able to learn and to be able to grow.
Did she point at me? Really?
No. I was not.
We're going to keep moving. Okay. That's the way me and Kendall work, though.
Yeah.
She loved me, y'all. She loved me.
I do. And I know how it has worked for me.
Yeah.
And, I can only tell you what works for me. I can't tell you about anybody else.
I know that's right.
But I can tell you what has worked for me. So my soul does magnify. Oh. I will praise thee with my whole heart. I'll sing a song to thee for your tender loving kindness, your truth you've given me. When I cried out, Lord, you answered me and gave me strength to make it through. My soul doth magnify you, Lord. Oh, love, my soul doth magnify you, Lord. Oh, I will praise thee with my whole heart. I'll sing a song to thee for your tender loving kindness, your truth you've given me. When I cried out, Lord, you answered me and gave me strength to make it through. My soul doth magnify you, Lord. You are the love of my life, God. My soul doth magnify you, Lord. Oh, Lord, I love you, Jesus. My soul doth magnify you, Lord. Bless the name of Jesus. Bless God. Thank you, Jesus.
My soul.
Yes.
Doth magnify you.
Bless the Lord.
Come on here.
Thank you, Jesus.
Let's give him praise. I don't know what's going on in your home, but I feel his presence right here, right now. We just give God praise. I give God praise and I give him glory for his love for us. Yes. And I thank you so much, Kendall, for sharing the Spirit of the Lord that lives within you.
Bless God.
I mean, oh my goodness. Did y'all like, look all the love going up there. Yes, they said, sing, girl.
Bless
sing.
God. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, so we thank the Lord for this opportunity for you to be with us on Let's Talk About Him. And thank you for being my very, very first guest. And I have a gift for you.
Oh my goodness.
I have something for you
Are you
for coming.
serious?
Yes, honey.
Oh my goodness.
If you was at Oprah's place, she would give you something. So
My car's outside.
not the cars today. We gotta do a little bit more.
That's okay. Okay, next time.
I ain't got there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not that resource yet. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So, okay, this is my gift to you.
Oh, my favorite.
So this is the Martinelle's sparkling cider.
Yes.
Oh, do we have it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we're giving you this, and it's chilled too, honey.
I'm saying.
We done chilled it, honey. And I ain't gonna ask you for none. I'm gonna let you take it home.
That's okay. If you ask nicely, I'll share.
Okay. So Kendall, I love you so much. I thank you so much for coming out in this COVID time to be with me. Kendall came in with her mask. She was ready. You see,
was ready.
We 6 feet apart. We're doing this thing.
Yes.
And so I thank all of you for joining. Doris Walden says, "Bless you, honey."
That's my auntie.
Oh, your auntie's on here.
Yes.
And Jacqueline says, "Don't tease us. We want more." They say they want more. So let me see what times we going. Okay, we're good. We're good. So Kendall, I'm going to turn it over to you to close out however you like to share with them. But before we close out, I just want to say we're here on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. Let's talk about him. This is something new. Kendall is my first guest, and I'm so grateful for her joining me.
Yes.
And I have some other guests lined up. And so typically, we will be here talking about excerpts from the book. We just closed out the book last week. But now we're just going to still go through the book, but we're going to have guests to join us. And so I have a couple of guests lined up. Yes, I have. God has given me favor, honey. The fact that she's here, that's favor. Yes. And so tonight we looked at Kendall's life and how she prayed, planned, and executed. She talked about her mom praying for her, how things just fell in order for her. And then, she realized that she had other gifts, and she sought expertise on how to hone those gifts. And she's executed the things that God has asked her to do. Yes. And she's moved forward in perseverance, but she did it scared. Who was that you say? You
do it afraid.
Do it afraid. Do it afraid. So if you don't know where you can find her music, Kendall, can you tell them where they can find you and your music?
Okay. Well, you can find me online. My website is kendallking.biz, B-I-Z. You can also find my music at kendallkingmusic.biz. I'm on social media, Kendall King Music on Facebook, Kendall King Biz on IG, Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, Kendall King Biz. And I also just started a blog, and it's kendallkingbiz.blogspot.com. So if you put in Kendall King Biz, Kendall King Music, you will find me. I'm so grateful for all of my family and friends that have been supporting the new project. Phil Carter posted on Facebook the other day that, as independents, we rely on our family and our friends to help support the ministry. We're out here, we're doing it by ourselves. So I'm very grateful. I just ask that you would continue to support. Please download the project, share it with your family and friends. And I am forever so grateful for all that God has blessed me with and the love and support from everyone. So I couldn't not say that. Just say thank you. Thank you, Tammy, for having me. So we're going to keep doing what God has called us to do. I had a CD release a week and a half ago. Yes. And so, we did the whole COVID thing. It was outside. But see, even in that, God blessed it. It was new. It was different. It was fresh. And so, we're going to continue to use the gifts that we have in order to bless the kingdom. There are no limitations in God, so you shouldn't put any limitations on what you can do. The sky is the limit. God can do anything. He can do the impossible. He is an out-of-the-box kind of God, and He's my daddy. So if He's going to do it, then I'm going to do it. Bless God. You know, so I'm really excited.
Girl,
And I thank
he your
you.
daddy. He my
Yes.
daddy too.
Yes, yes,
He
he
my
is.
daddy too.
Yes, he is.
I'm so excited. So I pray and I hope that as you're listening to Kendall, because she's talking to somebody out there,
Yes.
and I hope that you're encouraged after this time with us today, because you know I'm here. You know I'm here, and that's what I'm here for, is to encourage you. So I hope after you've heard Kendall talk about her life, that you're encouraged to go out and do that which God has called you to do. And guess what? Not all the time are you going to be able to do it alone. Someone will have to help and guide you. But guess what? He's placed the people around you to support you. And as she mentioned, Phil Carter. Phil Carter is an awesome artist. He's Stellar Award. He was one of the Stellar Award people we mentioned that we didn't say his name. But Phil Carter is doing above and beyond to help others that are independent artists. And that's what we as people should be doing. We should be doing those things to support our friends and family that are doing things to help them, you know, because we need to help each other.
We do.
That's what it's about.
Yes, we do.
We need to help each other. So with that, I'm going to close out. Kendall, did you want to, you know, sing the people goodbye? Or, you know?
No, I do want to mention that God is blessed, and I'm still writing new music, and I just wrote a Christmas song. Robert E. Person, he will be releasing a Christmas EP in the next couple of weeks, and the song that I wrote is called Love is Christmas. So keep looking out for that, and just continue to give God your best praise. He gives you his best, so we need to give God our best praise. Bless God.
Come on here. So thank you all for joining us tonight. I pray you'll come back and join us again next week. And, you know, we'll see what we do next week. I don't know. I might have a guest. Who knows? So thank you for joining us. Many blessings. Thank you, Kendall, for joining us tonight. And I had a blast. It was so much fun.
Love it.
So until next week, signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you. Whew. No limitations. That was fun.
That was fun.
Can we do it again? That was